So, our last devotion for this week, we're still going to be walking through some virtues. Um, and today the virtue is love. And this is one that there was a passage that comes to mind, and it's the one that talks about how love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast, like, etc., etc., etc. The passage that gets taken out of context a lot. And I thought, no way do I go through that in 5 minutes. So here's a simpler one. Ephesians 5, verse 1 and 2. Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. It's pretty straightforward. We're called to love one another. And our example is Christ. And it's an example of sacrificial love. It's me giving up part of myself, part of my freedom, part of my whatever you want to fill that in with, for the sake of someone else. And we can talk a lot more about how that gets applied and what that specifically looks like in a million different situations, but that's what we're called to do, is to love others and care about their well-being more than our own. And that's tough. But and I'm part of the reason I'm about to make this turn is because as most discussions of ethics do, this is a lot. This week, all this talk about virtue has been very law heavy. And if you want to talk about law-gospel distinction, set up a time to sit down with me for coffee, because I love to talk about it, but now is not the time, now is not the place. But anyway, so I wanted to end this week with a gospel proclamation for you, and we're called to love one another as Christ loved us, and I don't want you to ever forget that. Christ loved us first. So if you feel like, man, I'm not living up to any of this stuff, and you're really just being crushed by that, I'm not going to tell you not to try and do better, because God told us to live this way for a reason. He did. But he already loves you, and he'll continue to love you every step of the way. And his love was sacrificial, to the point of death. He loved you so much that he became a human being. He died and he rose again. And he went through all of that to save you and to bring you to him. And that's where I want to close our devotions this week. That we love as God first loved us. Brothers and sisters, go in peace and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.